Welcome to Rock Around the Clock, Google Stadia news and gameplay live at the same time every day, Monday to Friday. Every day we check out the latest Stadia news across the internet live, closing with Stadia gameplay and chat with your host Rock and occasional guests. But first, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss out on the latest Stadia news. If you'd like to support my content, please consider joining Team Rock by hitting the join button on this page. And here he is. I'm sorry folks, I know I'm 10 minutes late. OBS, which is it's the system that we content creators occasionally use to stream, kept crashing on me, but it was my fault because I had set it to be compatible with Windows 8 to try and fix a problem earlier and actually ended up creating problems. What a numpty! Anyway, how are you? It's Thursday. It is the day of Thor. I think that's what it means, by the way. I'm fairly certain. And great to see so many of you here already. How are you, dudes? Already Exist is here. And he went, sorry, wrong, strong. I don't know what that means. I've been miles back. I can see lots of redacted statements, though, mate. So I'm sure it's something down the road to do with that. I just want to make sure I'm not... no, I'm fine. And breathe. Sorry about that. Oh, flip me. I've got so much. I had loads. This is true. I had loads of stuff on various tabs to run through, and I had to restart the PC and I lost the lot. So you're going to have to bear with me on this, I'm afraid. But I was so pleased. I had so much lined up. We can still go through it. We can. It's all good. But I'm not going to have all the tabs that I was hoping for. Let me just see if I can remember. I suppose I could look in history, couldn't I? Anyway, how are you guys? I hope you're all well. I'm just having a quick looky-poos in recently closed 8 tabs, apparently. Oh, look, here they are. Here they are, guys. Yay. Oh, it's all good. We've also got a new news source that I've added to our mix. So we've now got Stadia Dosage, who I prefer to call Stadia Dosage, as well as, of course, the very beautiful Stadia source. And we've got a new one, which we'll have a look at in a second, which I think you'll approve. I'm really pleased. I'm really excited. Lots of bookmarks and then recently closed tabs, which I'm thinking to myself, let me see if I was really quick. I could sneak another one in. Let me see. What was the most recent tabs? Here we go. So I've got that one in. Got that one. Oh, there's this. Oh, yes, these. There's the one I was looking for. Good. Right, let's quickly say hello to folks. Here's Ray. Ray with his tons of emoji things. What do you call them? Avatars, emoticons. I always remember back when I was starting. I started a web design agency in the mid-90s. It was one of the first in the whole country. And I always remember buying this book on the internet. And there was a small section on World Wide Web and HTML, but there was other stuff like, what is an emoticon? Which they've now become kind of emojis, haven't they? Because there was those emoticons, which are like they're like the colon and the bracket and all that stuff, which we used to see a lot in text messages, which I still use all the time in my emails. Although you're not supposed to, but I can't help it. I've kind of blended the world of social and kind of professional. And I think a lot of folk, they quite respect that. Who says dear mister anymore? It's hi Jim, smiley face. Anyway, those were emoticons. And then of course, the emojis started to come across from Japan, where they were being used, I forget now where, but anyway, they've now become de facto, haven't they? The proper little smiley icons and stuff, and of course we've got our very own, which Ray just admirably demonstrated for all Team Rock members. So thank you guys. Already Exist is lolling from his previous comment. So anyway, great to see you all. One one day away from the weekend, and 1 week away, of course, from the final 3 days away from the final week of the month, which means we're a week and a day away from, yes, October Pro Games. And you know, I was sat having my lunch earlier, made myself. It's kind of like a poor man's omelette, if I'm honest, because you can make it in the microwave. There's a little tipette. So you grab yourself a couple of eggs, give them a good, beat them up in a reasonable sized dish, like a little bowl. Add some cheese, if you like cheese, I did, and then whack it all in the microwave for about a minute and a half. No oil and butter or any of that stuff. You could add that if you want to, but it kind of makes a sort of an omelette, and it really is quite tasty for lunch. It's really nice. Chopped up a tomato, chef's kiss. That's what you guys should do. Test it out. Rokk's omelette, we'll call it. Jamie, great to see you, my friend. I think you may make an appearance in today's Twitter bookmarks. With something that comment you made was really cool. I use them all the time in my work emails. Yeah, I think it's just the thing nowadays, isn't it, mate? Like I said, back in the day, of course, people frowned with an emoji frown that you shouldn't do all that stuff. But I do. I always go hi rather than dear, and always end it with a little smiley. I feel that people respect the friendly aspect. Oh, thank you, Ray. Do you know, that reminds me I've got to do some stuff on Instagram. And the other one that I really haven't got into at all is TikTok. And I know that Jeff Cognac, whatever it is, he's not here, it's okay. He's all over TikTok, but it kind of feels like a lot of work for me. I'm a bit concerned I'd have to come up with fresh new content all the time, and I don't know that I could do that, but we'll see. Cloud Gaming Dad, how are you, my friend? Good to see you, Joe. How's the game doing? How's it going? I've got to go back and watch your show, by the way. Another thought that I had earlier, I saw a tweet, you popped a tweet up saying that 9 to 5 has been difficult to do streaming and what have you, and I thought, oh, flip, I still need to watch that show you did on the Stadia business stuff. So I'm going to go back and watch that later. And Jamie says, yeah, I'm good, mate, actually. It's been a tough month for me, business-wise, but I think it's just starting to turn. Some funny old shenanigans in this country, as you know, and it certainly doesn't make life easy for business people. So, but I think we're getting there. And it is my usual mix of positivity and optimism, which some may not like, but I'm telling you now, in business, they are crucial. That and a decent EQ. And an EQ, if you didn't know, you know what IQ is? It's kind of the ability to think and creatively think and have what we would consider intelligence, but it's more than that, I think. Well, an EQ is the equivalent for emotional intelligence. So, for example, if you're in a business meeting, and you've got a good, decently honed EQ, you can usually tell from the other person's body language and what they say whether they are loving what you're saying or they can't wait to get out the door. So having a good one of those in business is good to have. Cloud Validation, how are you, buddy? Great to see you. Thanks for jumping on in to our daily clock session, our 24 hours around the Stadia clocks. Great to see you, bud. Thank you so much. Jamie says COVID, energy prices, Queen's death, threat of nuclear war. Nah, ain't gonna happen, mate. But yes, it's been nasty. And I would go even further back and I would say Tories 12 years ago. I would say that their Brexit, I would say austerity, and there's a ton of it, mate, to be honest. But all of that has come together now. All of it to trickle down economics, which Joe Biden laughed at. Hit that thumbs up for Rokk. Thank you, Ray. Bless you, my friend. Anyway, we're running out of time because I was late, and I really do apologise for that. So, shall we shift over to The news. Yes, Rock, shift on to the news. Right, I just had to quickly hide a tab, but we'll do it now. Here it comes. Hey, here I am. Hello, Rock. Hello, Rock. Right, starting at the top. So, this broke this afternoon. Seen it in a couple of places. Went and did some research of my own. But essentially, there's a new, cheaper Chromecast with Google TV. Do you know what? Like Xbox Cloud Gaming, what is it with these guys and their ridiculously unmemorable brand names? I mean, Chromecast, Chromecast Ultra was okay, but what's with the Chromecast with Google TV thing? It's either it's more of a Google TV with Chromecast, isn't it? And why not just Google TV 4K? Oh, come on, guys. Marketing, where are you? Anyway, there's a new, cheaper one. But before you get excited, there's a reason why it's cheaper. Now, you guys will probably have the 4K version that came out a little while ago. And that puppy is still around $50, similarly kind of priced. Hey, Mugen Live on Google Stadia. How are you, buddy? Great to see you, my friend. Thanks for popping along. And we've got William as well, Stadia Pro Gaming. Good morning, Rock and Chat. Yeah, of course, if you are on the West Coast, it is very early. It's about 20 past 9 in the morning. If you are on the East Coast, it's just gone lunchtime. Well, my lunchtime's midday, but it's 20 past 12 in the afternoon. Of course, if you're in Central Europe right now, it's 20 past 6. Hopefully you're on your way home from work, or you've got home, you're putting your feet up, you've poured yourself a glass or a coffee, you're having your dinner, and you're just enjoying the daily Stadia news. For me, it's 20 past 5, but that's rock around the clock time. What have we got? Jamie says, wow, what do we all think of the new... Jamie, coming back to that one, my friend. You preempted the next story, and I got a lot of stuff to cover off on that as well. But thank you. I'll pull that one back up when we get there. So, $50 buys you the current one, 4K. $30, I think it's about 33 pounds. I mean, you would think it would be less if it's UK, but sadly what we're now seeing, and we will see more of, which goes back to what I've just said about the UK, we are one of the worst performing economies in the world right now, certainly in the in the top 7. I think we've dropped right down from 3 to 7. It's absolutely abysmal. The dollar's very strong. The pound's incredibly weak. So where you would see before $30 probably meant about 25 to 28 pounds, you're now starting to see it actually being higher. And I think we're going to start to see that across the board formally. We're going to be almost getting to parity with the dollar and the pound, which is it's not good for the UK. It's great for the US. Particularly if you're visiting us, by the way. It's never been there's not been a cheaper time to visit the UK as a tourist for some years. So make use of that. Anyway, listen, there's a reason for all this, though. On our friends at Stadia Dosage, they basically talk about the fact that it's 1080p, so you're getting less pixels. Not a massive issue for a lot of people. It's still the case that most people have televisions that aren't 4K. So for them, it's not an issue. It's absolutely not a problem. Or if you've got a spare TV in the bedroom, or maybe out in the outhouse, or in the kids' bedrooms, that kind of thing, perfect. You're getting it for virtually half price, so that's all good. But actually, technically, there are some other things that aren't covered off in this article that are worth having a look at. So if we ping over to a new channel that I haven't been to for, Chrome Unbox. They go into it in a little bit more detail. So the new one's called the Chromecast with Google TV HD. Oh, you gotta love those ultra amount of characters, have you not? Rockmouth's in the house. I'd rather get a stream deck. Rockmouth, hold your horses, buddy. We're going to be talking about it all very soon. I've got lots of stuff to talk to you about on that front. But let's concentrate on the old Google with Chromecast for TV HD right now, because yes, it's 1080p, but there's more to it than that. There's actually some pluses and some cons. Now, the pluses, interestingly, are right now it comes with Android 12 installed. I think the current Google TV is Android 11, not 100% sure, but that's no massive thing. It'll get updated, and honestly, I don't think there's any massive changes anyway. But On top of that, it also has a new way to update, which is faster and better. So they'll be rolling out updates on a more regular basis. I don't know whether that is just purely part of Android 12 and therefore something that the 4K version will get in time. It's highly possible. But this is, for me, this is the really interesting one. So out of the box, the new HD is able to decode AV1. Now, at the moment, it's H.264, works perfectly fine with Stadia, as you guys know. But AV1 is, I think, the codec that GeForce Now uses. And I think it's also better suited moving forward for Stadia. So what that makes me think is that actually we've got a new Google TV Pro, let's call it, the 4K version, in the wings. And I wouldn't mind betting we'll see it for the holidays as well. My reasoning is that they probably have a new chipset that allows for this different decoding, plus, of course, Android 12 and other bits and pieces. I mean, they're talking about it being faster. Well, it would be, wouldn't it? It's 1080p. It'd be an upside to Google's decision to stick with the HD version. I think, for a lot of folk, for $30, I think it's a good purchase, particularly if you don't pay for Stadia Pro anyway, in which case you're only getting those games at 1080p. And of course, you're going to also get this whole AV1 thing, which probably means it's more compatible with the higher quality with a higher quality game stream from GeForce. So there's a few goods and a few bads, but it's 1080p. So that's what you've got to figure versus 4K. My gut feeling, though, is that there's going to be an updated version of the 4K before Christmas, and probably for the same price, but with an improved chipset and these increased codecs. So it might be worth... I mean, get one of these if price is the important thing, because it's not going to get cheaper, the 4K. So if price is important and you just want one for your second or your third TVs, perfect. But if you're looking for, if you're weighing up the cons and the pros, I'd hang out for a little bit longer. Just my thinking. That remote is so smooth, says Blee Flu Fla. How are you, buddy? Thanks for rejoining. Team Rock as well. That's really awesome. Yeah, it is a gorgeous looking thing. I've started to use mine. I've got Sky Q, which is the sort of big satellite provider in the UK, although these days they're moving from satellite to down the internet, broadband delivery. Video over IP, I guess it's called in the technical terms. And they have all the services on there. They have YouTube and they have Netflix and everything else. But the quality is still not as good as coming off of this puppy. So I usually fire this up to get your Dolby Plus and your Dolby Vision and all that malarkey. And I love the little controller. The only thing I'd say is it can be a little bit like a bar of soap in your hand. It's a bit, wait, come back, where's it gone? Rudig, so the old CCU, see my point, CCU WGT is 4K and the new one's 1080p. That's exactly right, but it's half the price for that reason. So, well, it's not quite half the price, but it's a significant 40, let's call it 40%. And it has some advantages. I mean, you still get the controller, it still looks the same. The chip's obviously only allowing for 1080p out. So really, you want to look at this one purely on the basis that, do I have additional TV sets that I could slap this onto? That would be really cool. And I don't want to pay full price. Or do I have a 1080p television anyway, and I don't really need the 4K? And of course, if you have the free version of Stadia, you're not getting 4K out of it anyway. You will do for your Netflixes and stuff, but even then only if you're paying for the higher quality output. So you have to weigh those things up. But as I've said, there are some advantages. They do have an improved codec for AV1, which means it'll play nicer with some of the other streaming services. So I would say that probably heralds a new one coming in the near future, an uprated 4K. So unless the price means something to you, and that's an important factor, go for it. If not, don't wait. There's going to be some good stuff coming. Let me just quickly catch up with the chat. Yep, they should have called it the Google TV HD, and then on the box, yeah, I don't get why they hung out for Chromecast. Did they think it was such a strong brand that they needed to merge the two words together. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, why not come up with, like you say, Google TV? I don't even like Google TV, quite honestly, because for me, TV, when I say TV, I think of old school broadcast television. I don't think of a streaming device. And I would like to have seen something cleverer. But there you go. That's the one they've got. That's the one they're living with. And they've added HD to the end. And do you know, bearing in mind that the CCWGTV doesn't say, I don't think it says 4K at the moment. They may change that. People may buy the HD mistakenly in the shop, thinking that this is the high definition. Whenever I know UHD is the 4K, but people still think HD means higher quality 4K. So, that could get a little confusing as well for the old folk. 1030 Media Group. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for dropping in. Great to see you, my friend. Right, I just need to go back and make sure I haven't missed anything. Let me see. We're going to cover that next. Cloud validation. Yep, that's awesome. Master, how are you, buddy? Thanks for dropping in. Great to see you as well. Awesome. Or hopefully it'll also allow for 120 FPS support for future upgrades. With the 4K or the 1080p? Yeah, I'd love to see them improve on that. And honestly, it's all about throughput of data, quite honestly. So, I don't know that it could be a software upgrade. It's going to largely depend on the GPU and how quickly it can refresh those frames. It's 120 frames per second. If you go back to early television, it was even less than 24 frames per second, which is what cinema has always standardized on. Going back, way back to the beginning of kind of major movies and things. The future 4K version. Thank you, Ray. And right, okay, cool. Pete Plays, how are you, buddy? Afternoon, rockin' chaps. Thanks, my friend. I think it's, if you use the Stadia Enhanced on PC, I think you can change Stadia to AV1. You can, exactly that. And it is a higher quality codec. So that's why I'm thinking, now that they've got the AV1 chip, because interestingly enough, or the codec, one of the downsides, I've got a Shield Pro as well, and one of the downsides of the Shield Pro is it doesn't have, it's not able to stream Stadia at a high res. It's fixed at 1080, which I believe is because it doesn't have that capability. So I think I can see them honestly rolling this out to an up-rated 4K version soon. I really can. Dorigan, how are you, my friend? Good to see you after our little chat. It's great for an older dumb TV. Yes, which most are, absolutely. But this could call... Yeah, I think the wording is a little confusing. You're absolutely right. I would like... If they add 4K, you can see it. They look exactly the same, although I don't know whether the 1080p version comes in different colours. It may not do. It may simply be the white version. I'm just sort of looking up and down. We'll have a look here at Best Buy, actually. I'm going to pretend I'm in America. All right, here we go. $30. Let's see if it gives us a choice of colour. I would imagine it's any colour you want as long as it's white, which is looking likely. Let's have a look down the side here. Can't see any other options. No colour. So yeah, that would make sense. So it's white, but next to the white 4K version, let me just tell them I don't want their notifications. On a Best Buy shelf, I think if you saw Google TV Nothing versus Google TV HD, I would pick up the HD thinking that must be the 4K version. But then I suppose you're a bit of a numpty as it's half the price. But, people can be numpties. It's a perfectly feasible thing. Anyway, that's out there now. You can go and pick it up. I'm assuming it is worldwide. I haven't bothered to check anywhere else. But it's certainly an option. And for me, it indicates that AV1 will be coming soon to the 4K version. So watch out for that. I wouldn't look to replace your current 4K version if it does, mind you, because Stadia works perfectly fine. But, they're going to update the chips as life goes along. Anyway, I mentioned top of the show, I've got another new news source, and it's these guys, Stadia Hoy. Now, I'm actually, to be fair, as you can see, it's not in English, it's in Hispanic, but I'm a bit of a cheat, and I'm going to translate it to English. I hope they don't get offended. But it's actually got some really good stuff on stadiahoy.com. And the first one is this, which has been picked up by the other news channels, and it's that Taxi Chaos could soon be coming to Stadia. Awesome. This is obviously a trailer for it. It's kind of GTA-esque. Oh, wow. You can fly in your taxi. How cool is this? Team 6 is the developer. Lion Castle is the publisher. And the reason they say this, let's have a read through. Today we echo a new edition, bearing in mind it's translated by Google, so apologies in advance. If it sounds incorrect, it's not their fault. Blame the AI. Today we echo a new addition to the Stadia game catalogue, Taxi Chaos, a clone of the famous Crazy Taxi from Sega. How cool is that? That will reach Google's game streaming platform and will do so directly to the Stadia Pro. See, they've got some info here. They're saying this is not only coming to Stadia, but it's going to be a Stadia Pro game so that we can obtain it with our active subscription to the service. Taxi Chaos is a crazy arcade game in which we will have to carry out our work as a taxi driver in order to get our passengers, blah, blah, blah. At the moment, Taxi Chaos does not have a release date on Stadia or its appearance on the Stadia Pro subscription service, although it is expected to do so soon. We remind you that you can follow. So they don't actually say where they have that information from, but I've seen it carried on other channels. Stadia Source have got it, and I think Stadia Dosage as well from these guys, I have to say. But if it does come, and I've no reason to doubt them, they seem to have more than just the news that it could be coming. They literally have that it could be a Stadia Pro game. In fact, look at this. Oh no, that's them, sorry. I thought it was a link to the game. So we'll keep an eye out for that one, but it does look good. Now it says February 21, that's when it first launched. But they think it's imminent. Well, we've been told what's coming in October. That wasn't mentioned. So possibly November, maybe later. They've certainly got some games to meet the people keep saying the promised. I don't think they actually said we guarantee there will be over 100 new games this year, but I think they said that they were certainly aiming for that. But it would be great if they did that. But these guys are great. They've got some really good news. I like the layout of their site. I love these little thumbnails when you move over the news. They've got all the stuff that we've covered recently, but it's a great new addition to the news source. So I'll be looking at these guys every day, bringing anything that they're covering as well. So check them out. Absolutely awesome stuff. Next up, yes, it's the bit you've all been waiting for. The new, well, we kind of knew this was coming. We covered it a week or so ago, if not on this show, certainly, or 2 weeks ago, certainly on Stadia Rokk Show. And of course, it's the new Logitech Cloud G, which is their gaming handheld. It's a joint project between them and Tencent, who have been making massive ripples over the last couple of years in the global gaming world. And of course, they're from China. Now, let's have a play. Now, I know you guys you've checked this out already. You've got views and opinions, which are cool. My opinions were the same to begin with. There's a couple of things worth thinking about with these go, and we'll get on to it in a second. Trevor. Hey, Trevor, how are you, buddy? Just catching up there. Codec must be built into smart TVs as I can run GeForce Now. No, you can run GeForce Now right now on Google TV. My point was you can only run it at 1080p. So a lot of the subscription services, of course, including Stadia, allow you to go up to higher resolutions. And AV1 should help to unlock that. May not, because again, ultimately, it's going to be down to the app and, of course, the app developer. But yes, you're right. You can run GeForce Now, you can run Stadia, Boosteroid, and a ton of others, Atomic, on your various smart TVs right now. Google must see a market for this. That's why, I'm going to pause it and run this again. Google must see a market for this. That's why they released it. Don't think it's really a gaming thing, more of a media industry thing. The dongle has less RAM and the same storage. It's price, isn't it? And they could be aiming it at other markets outside of the West. So it may be that it's a device that will sell particularly well in Asia Pacific, India, Africa. Who knows? But I'm absolutely sure they don't do this stuff for fun. But it suits a marketplace. It's half price or thereabouts, and you can still put it on your other devices. Of course, you could probably pick up now used 4K versions for less on your Facebook Markets and your eBays. So that's worth thinking about as well. I got my games, sir, and my phone. Yeah, man, I mean, we'll come on to this, but that was my very first thought, Ray. What is the benefit of this over my phone? And I mean, I can go back to the days of the PS Vita, still got one kicking around. These things, in the end, that was, when I got this, I could see things close up. And this is one of the reasons why I don't do mobile gaming anymore, because, I've got to put my specs on and I just can't be faffed. But there's definitely people that do love to work to play on small devices. Now, your options are, the great thing about this Logitech Cloud, well, compared to other devices, it's quite pricey, but it is cheaper than a Steam Deck. Pros and cons. It's lighter. It's got a decent sized screen, in fairness. It's it's pretty much this. I think it's even possibly bigger than a Switch screen, but I don't know. I don't have the tech specs to hand. It's got a 12-hour battery life. You kind of expect that, to be honest, because it's not going to have the level of CPU and GPU that something like a Steam Deck has, or for that matter, a phone these days, a half-decent sized phone. And to be fair as well, a half-decent sized phone like maybe the new iPhone Pro Max, 14 Pro Max, or one of the larger Samsungs, they've got decent battery life as well. They'll run for a while. And you can, of course, get a Cushy and other handheld devices. But big downsides are that you can't play local games. So a Steam Deck obviously allows you to install and play locally. You could arguably play with Moonlight streaming from your PC. It's one way around it, I guess. But I also am struggling to see where... let me see. I did have one of the... Oh, I've lost it. Okay. I had a really good article, actually, that went into it in detail. There's lots of options now. And my fear with this is... firstly, the world is still coming to terms with cloud gaming. And if you are a gamer... you are more likely to go with a Steam Deck right now than a cloud gaming unit. And particularly because a lot of kids have got Amazon tablets, they've got iPads, they've got Android tablets, and of course you can connect a controller to those and play GeForce Now, play Stadia. There's a whole ton of things you can do with those. And they probably already have them. So you've got to think from a consumer perspective, what is it that makes this really compelling? And then on Stadia dosage a couple of weeks ago, actually it was closer than I thought, September 16th, so yeah, about a week and a half ago, Tertius Han did a brilliant review of this thing, the Ain Odin. This is the light version. It's actually about $50 less than the new Cloud G. And it's actually about the same resolution, but it's got a much higher quality chipset. It also glows in the dark, which is great if you're playing at night. Want to see where all the various bits are. Out of the box, it's configured for Switch. It's a Switch alternative. However, you can very easily configure it for Stadia. As you can see, it's got it running Stadia here and other streaming services. And he actually, in the article, goes through in some detail to configure it to work really well with Stadia. And he was very happy with this device. So, there are options out there. This is the thing. Personally, I'm quite happy playing on a phone or a tablet. And my fear with the... sorry, guys. Let me see. I may even still have that article up. No, maybe not. Yeah, my fear with the Logitech device is that the market's not quite there yet, quite honestly. We'll see. Let's catch up with some of the thoughts over here. It seems cheaper to buy a phone and a phone controller. Absolutely, Kellen How are you, my friend? This is the whole point. I'm struggling with that point. That's the major point. Bjorn, who is my co-host of Rock Players, which is on tonight, 8 p.m. UK time, he recently bought the old cushy and he's got his phone on it and he abs cushy. He loves it. He loves it. And he's playing his Xbox games on there. He's playing Stadia games. He's playing GeForce games. And of course, takes off the cushy and yep, it's my phone again. Whereas this has one job in life. Although the screen is quite sizable, it is fixed at 1080p. And I don't want to show that one because that isn't what we're. Let me get the history up and see if I can get that recent. Pass. Yep, here we go. Right. So, Windows Central, they wouldn't they? They've said pass on the G Cloud and get the Steam Deck instead. Actually, looking at this, I'd still say that the Logitech has a slightly larger screen, but it's the same resolution, so it's kind of irrelevant. Obviously, you've got the little touch pads with this puppy, slightly less battery, slightly more cost, but it does allow you to play local games as well. So, not everybody has the internet when they're out and about, or they don't want to use the data, or they're on holiday and the hotel doesn't have a decent connection and all those other things. So, there's half of me that's arguing down because it's cloud-based. But actually, for me, I think the key thing is that if they'd have come out at, say, 200, 250, I think people would then go, is it worth the extra $100 to play local games when actually I could play them on GeForce or Xbox or Stadia? But at the price where it is, I can't get it myself. Difficult one. Very difficult. Interesting, though. And of course, Xbox, they've partnered with GeForce, they've partnered with Microsoft, they've made sure that it's optimized for them. But quite honestly, you can run a browser on a Steam Deck and run them as well as, I'm absolutely sure. Very interesting. One to watch. But for me, I still can't get over why you would want to not just slap a controller on your phone, which is what I do if I want to play on a tablet, for example, or, put one of the little thingies around the outside. I mean, I bought this one for my Vita, but it does the same job. Vita. I've not powered this up for about 10 years. I really must see if it still works. Oh dear, I used to play all sorts of little racing games on there. It was great. 1080p, big battery, no fiddling about. Yeah, I've got your tweet coming up in a minute, mate. Taking my phone out its case, into the cachie and back out again. It's a yes from me. I know what you're saying. It could come down to convenience, or it could be, hang on, I've got a phone. I already own a phone, and I can buy these. Even if it's not the cushy, you can get other ones on Amazon. I bought some decent ones over time. And ultimately, it's like, oh, I don't know. How you doing, bud? Good to see you, my friend. Also, let's not forget, recent phones don't use 69 ratio. Yeah. Which Stadia supports. So even if you've got an iPhone with a 6.5-inch screen, Apple have always been really weird with their resolutions, though, haven't they? I mean, all your MacBooks are 1610, which is really weird. No idea. Is the Odeon also Wi-Fi only? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know why we suddenly launched into a video there. It's very nice, isn't it? This fellow, do you mean? Let me just search Wi-Fi. Did it come up with Wi-Fi? It did come up with Wi-Fi. I've spent hours playing Saints Row on this little darling of a device. The Wi-Fi never quit and the battery lasted several hours. I've never played long enough to run it. He says 5 to 7 hours of gameplay, by the way. So it's about half the battery life of the Logitech. I did think earlier, though, even if the Logitech is 12 hours, GeForce, I think, caps your time even if you have the GeForce, even if you have the 3080, I think you're capped to 8 hours. So you're never going to get to your 12 anyway. Although, like all these things, you can quit and go back again and it still kind of works. I'm just having a look, actually, mate, to see if he's got any screenshots of the ports. It's a really good article. Right, there's kind of a port going on there, or it's a cover for ports. Now I'm zooming in, but it's not. Oh, here we go. See if I can get in a bit closer. No, they're buttons. I think there's a flip down. Can't see. That's a card. Oh, okay, so you can put a card in there. Not sure what that one is though. Possibly video out. That's headphone jack there maybe. The other thing worth bearing in mind with the Logitech is it does have a built-in microphone. I don't know about Steam Deck. I've never seen one in the wild. And it has echo cancellation. So you could use the Logitech to stream games, which would be interesting. And don't forget, it is Logitech owns Streamlabs and Melon. So it's not beyond the wit of man to assume that there could be a way to stream games with Streamlab within the device using that microphone. That could be cool. There's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no camera. That looks suspiciously like a microphone to me, that little dot there just above the left-hand thumbstick. So maybe it also has a microphone? Don't know, but I'd certainly worth asking the author, as he still uses it, what his thoughts are. But yeah, all good. Is Xbox doing what Stadia was? These are editorials, so it's irrelevant for today's show. Let's come out of there. Yeah, Cyberpunk and Ubisoft games have joined the Stadia end of summer sale. I think Cyberpunk's 50% off right now, which is flippin' amazing, quite honestly, and I must get around to finishing it. Doragon says the Logitech is running a 720G chipset. It's not as efficient that as PR is making it out. Yeah, I imagine they've really stripped it to the bones. But that's what baffles me with the price point, because if they've got a really basic chipset and GPU, and it's purely designed for stream games, so fast refresh rate, decent Wi-Fi, why are they selling it at such a high price? I can't believe that. I mean, let's okay. That thing is not far off the price of a PlayStation 5. It is the same price as an Xbox Series S. Choices. Think about the tech in both those boxes. Now, I know that typically the console manufacturers have lost lead on the hardware for the consoles. I get that. But given that there's far less crammed into one of those things, bearing it with you, when you buy your Xbox or your PlayStation, it comes with a controller. That's all this is, a controller, or, with a screen and a couple of chips in it. It's not much to it. That thing could go to market at $200 in my book and probably be a viable option, but I can't see it at that. I really can't. Doragon's come back, 2-year-old mid-range chipset. You won't charge near that for a phone with the tech. He's right. So right. If you buy any modern phone that's maybe up to 2 years, 18 months old or newer, you're going to get better kit in your phone. Now, I know you're paying $1,000 for a brand new iPhone 14 or $1,200 if you want the Pro Max. Or similarly, if you want a Fold, a Samsung Fold, or, I get that. But I can't see what this is, a one-trick pony in my book, and I think it's overpriced. Telecoms worker here knows his stuff. No, man, it's great. Bring it. It's fantastic. This is what helps us to inform, because I'm not. And I'm picking up information very early after the announcement yesterday. But 5 to 7 hours gameplay, maybe that's enough for most folk. Or you could, of course, have it permanently plugged in. Depends where you're going to play. Technically, you could just pair these handhelds with your phone's hotspot. You could. There's so many options. Stadia Claw, £10. Absolutely, get proper controller feel. Yeah, just pop it on the edge of your controller, and you've got all the advantages. Yeah, it's tough sell, that one. Tough sell. I'm just not sure who they're aiming it at. That's all. As much as I'd love them to do well, because it's cloud, and it's screaming cloud, and it's getting the whole concept of cloud gaming into a marketplace as well. First time ever, there's a dedicated, and from really reputable hardware brand name, Logitech, huge name. So maybe they're aiming at the Chinese. I don't know. Dan, how are you, buddy? Good evening to you too. Thanks for joining, my friend. I hope you're well on this Thursday. And I'm sure I just saw Bear sneaking in. There he is with David, his pet. Howdy cloudies. What are we talking about? Oh man, we've covered some ground. We have covered some ground. Pete Plays just got it on eBay for 20. Just get it on eBay for 20 quid by March. Yeah, I know what you're saying, mate. I could see a lot of people buying this thinking it's a great alternative to a Switch or to a Steam Deck. And you imagine kids opening it at Christmas going, what the hell is this, Mum? Well, it plays games, apparently. You got access to thousands of games. Mum, it's cloud. You do realise I asked for a Switch, right? Put it on eBay now. Oh, I can see it happening. I know of people who've got, I don't know them personally, but through friends who have opened up on Christmas. This happened. Somebody opened up on Christmas Day a PS5. You know those things were gold dust a couple of years ago. I mean, it's still quite hard now. And he screamed the house down because he'd asked for a Series X and they had to take it back. And I just think, wow, first world problems. How funny. Jamie says, wondered if they are only launching in US, Canada to gauge how popular. That's a good point as well, my friend. I don't know. The launch event yesterday, I think, was in Europe, but I may be wrong. I just know I remember there were lots of UK voices. But yeah, could well be. Could very well be. I don't know what's going on there, if I'm honest with you. Humble! I have the Odin Light and I love it. There you go. Humble, you the man to ask the questions. Is it Wi-Fi only? Can you plug it in to your television? Does it have HDMI out? And have you been able to configure it to work with GeForce and Stadia? Be great to know. Thank you so much for popping in and letting us know that. Right, I think we've covered all the news, so we'll have a quick look at the bookmarks today. I don't remember if I mentioned this yesterday, guys, but do you remember the other day From Space was held back, and we surmised it was probably because on September 30th they're launching FIFA, and I think the guys, the devs, the publishers suddenly thought, oh my flip, why are we launching From Space the same day as FIFA 23? So they put it back. Well, they've now categorically stated it is going to be November the 3rd, so it's about a month after and a couple of days. But it's still coming as a Stadia Pro game, which is super exciting. That's going to be, well, having said that, it's probably going to be, I wonder if they're launching it November 1 on Stadia and November 3rd everywhere else. That's an interesting thought, isn't it? It's definitely a pro game. It's either going to come out 3 days later, or there's going to be a pre-day and date, which will be fascinating. David says, Rock, when are you and John doing your big announcement? September 30th, actually. And it has nothing to do with it has everything to do with Stadia. It has nothing to do with FIFA or any games, for that matter. I'm excited about it. I've hinted on here before about it, guys. I hinted on here before we started doing the hype campaign. I've got another couple graphics coming out soon as well. We are having a meeting on Sunday to discuss, John and I, to go over our logistics, and I've also got to start work on some really good media assets, which I need to have finished for Friday week. It's going to be, it genuinely is going to be big. I know a lot of people say that, and then they just launch some little show. It's, for you guys, not so much for me and John, for you guys, it's massive. And it's going to last a while as well, I think. Could be 6 months. So yeah, it's going to be huge. I cannot wait. It's going to be amazing. Twisted Barber, hi buddy. I'd be looking to Xiaomi rather than Logitech, Samsung, iPhone, etc. Great phones, great tablets. There's just, I think, as I've said, unless it's being bought by people that don't know what they don't know, possibly is a gift for kids by grannies and that sort of a thing, or it's being aimed at certain markets like Jamie said just now about the possibility of it maybe rolling out to the States to see what the stomach is for it, or maybe Africa. But the price is not there. What am I even saying? It's expensive. No, scrap all of that. I don't know. I don't fully get it. Paul here. Now we've got a few people's opinions on this now. Paul Bayram, good friend, and he's basically, so Tom Warren is saying, Logitech's G Cloud arrives in October, $350. It has Xbox Cloud Gaming, NVIDIA GeForce pre-installed. It's also powered by Android. We know that Stadia will run on it. That was already stated before launch anyway, which is why we covered it in the past. Also, you know what? I've got to be honest, I struggle with having my hands out here playing anything. I'm so used to having them comfortably sit around a controller, which is why I'd rather use the claw, as mentioned earlier, with a controller than have my hands out here. It just doesn't feel right for me. I guess if you've got a Switch and you're probably really used and comfortable to using that device, I can see it. But Paul's saying, I'm just not getting it. Or does anyone else find this pointless? Like, I've a phone. Steam Deck does all this and more. This is actually the majority of people's opinions. Moz over at Stadia Dosage MM2K, it says $300. Bing. By the way, there is a $300 version. You've got to, if you buy it on their store, and it's not there yet, I don't think, you get it discounted from $350 to $300. So the manufacturer's recommended retail price is $350. Of course, it's not going to sell for that anywhere. You're going to get it in Best Buy for at the most $300, maybe even less. Amazon the same, etc. So don't be buying it for $350 if you can wait. But he feels the same way. I'll just stick to my phone, my tablet. Jamie, there he is. See, Jamie, I told you were going to be in here. Jamie Lee Williams. I don't get the hate this is getting. It's good for you sticking up for it, mate. And people saying just get a Steam Deck, 1080p screen, 12-hour battery life, unlimited storage, cloud library, no downloading of games, dedicated cloud device. The problem is, though, they're still, all of those except for the 12-hour battery life are still pertinent to the Steam Deck or the phone. But I do love the idea of a dedicated cloud device, if only because it's pushing cloud. My only fear is that people will laugh at it and it reflects badly on cloud as a thing. But we'll see. And then Lee from Stadia Source. The Logitech G Cloud will of course appeal to some people. For myself, I've been fortunate enough to test numerous mobile gaming controllers that have been designed and built with cloud in mind. So mostly folk in the Twitterverse are saying the same thing. It's a really weird one. I just wish I could see what they were trying to achieve at that price point. It's not hitting me. It really isn't. Don't see it. Odin Light has a SIM card. Here we go, guys. From the man that has one. The Odin Light has a SIM card slot, but I never tried it. It's just Android, so it should work. I just use my Android phone as a hotspot, and that works. Okay. So Wi-Fi only, I'm getting from that. You didn't mention if it has HDMI out, although that kind of defeats the object. But of course, it makes it more Switch-like, I guess. Just want to see. Does PS Now work on phones? Yeah. Oh, I so wish. In fact, as you may or may not know, PS Now doesn't exist anymore. It's now part of the whole PlayStation Plus premium package, the top one. And it doesn't even work. You can't even stream with it. It's painful. Such a shame, because I love it. The quality's great these days on newer games. And it has getting on for 800 to 1,000 games in the library. But no, Sony have been dragged kicking and screaming to cloud and to streaming, even though they were one of the first out there with cloud game streaming, with PS Remote. They've sort of always been a bit like, I've always said this in the past, a bit like those car manufacturers like your Mercedes and your BMW that kind of invent these amazing features and then everybody else copies them and does really well with their cars. I kind of feel like Sony's been there. They could have so captured the market. It's a shame, it really is. But yeah, no, it's a shared and sad. What have we got here? I tell you what, guys. The other thing I was going to have a quick look at, we're coming up with 6:05. Oh, wrong one. But I want to have a quick look at the Google Stadia community stream. And the reason for this is last Thursday, just after we stopped streaming, they popped a community blog up where they announced Martha is Dead and Arcade Paradise. Arcade Paradise are called coming as a pro game on Saturday the 1st of October. Super excited about that. So just before we go, I thought we would have a quick look and just hang on a couple of minutes and see. But fantastic stream. Guys, thank you so much for joining today as always. It's brilliant to see so many of you. Hey Perp, how are you? To me, here we go, Purple's opinion. To me, this is more of a bridge device between mobile and traditional gaming. Yes, you can technically do that on your phone, but this is for those dedicated mobile gamers that need more power. Okay, but most phones have got really good chipsets. I mean, better chips than are in the Logitech Cloud G, and even arguably the Stream Deck in some cases. And of course, yep, it does have HDMI out. Brilliant. Thank you, Humble. There you go. So it is we're talking here about the not the Logitech G Cloud, guys, just so I don't want to get anybody confused that's coming a little bit late, but the AYN or the Ain Odin Lite. So this little guy is for sale for about $250, so it's a good price point. It has similar features, 1080p screen. It will run Stadia. It will run GeForce. It'll probably run Xbox. Pretty much. Yep, there we go. Everything that the new Logitech Cloud G will do. Slightly less battery, 5 to 7 hours, but it will do all the things you love to do with the G Cloud. I must get rid of it. Cloud G, the Logitech Cloud G, but it's going to be at at manufacturer retail price $100 cheaper. Humble's got one, loves it. Tertia's Hand on Stadia Dosage done a great article on it. So there's options around, that's the thing. I know it was a stretch, but that's my defense of it, bless you. My defense is that it's a dedicated cloud device, and for me, just having the fact that there are major manufacturers out there right now that are backing cloud with a significant investment, that's fantastic. And I genuinely would love to see it do well. Just from a pragmatic perspective, I cannot see how you can sell that device when there are so many other devices out there similarly priced that do more. That's the thing. But maybe it's all about the marketing in the sense that it just selling to cloud. And if cloud is a huge thing, and it will be, then these guys are ahead of the crowd. But I think $100 cheaper and they would have flown off the shelves. And Dorrigan wanted to defend it. Cutting my losses felt like the more sensible move. It's all good. Hey, Winstar, buddy. 200 to 250 would be perfect price point. Exactly. If they'd come in at that price point, even if they said, okay, we're new to market, we understand that cloud is still, to some people, embryonic. We're going to bring this in at X price. Let's just say we're bringing in at $250 as an introductory price, plus you get 6 months free access to Fans of Gamers. Just subscribed. Thank you, my friend. I thought you were already a subscriber, but it's lovely to have you on board. Thank you. So if they said, we're going to bring it in at $250 and we're going to give you 6 months of either Stadia or GeForce Now, then suddenly, and that could be subsidized, right? So Stadia or Nvidia could subsidize that because it's getting you into their world. And if they've got your card details up front, which can roll over once it comes to an end, there's a fairly strong chance that a good percentage of those would stay there. So that kind of a thing, Makes a heap of sense for me, but they haven't done that. What they've done is they've partnered so they can get the seal of approval from Microsoft and Nvidia. And truthfully, it doesn't have much more going on inside. One final look to see if we've got anything from our friends over at Stadia on a Thursday. They often do a blog post, but in fairness, they tend to do it every other week. So next Thursday, we'll probably get this from them. Right, guys, that'll do us, I think. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining, particularly all of those that I know it's a difficult time for some. First thing in the morning, you're either off to work or getting the kids ready for school, or if it's midday, you're just about to stop for lunch or what have you. So I really appreciate it when you come in. Thank you so much. Hi, fans of gamers. How are you, my friend? $199 price tag. I'd buy it. Yeah. 300, 350 is just not quite there for me. Good show today. Thank you, buddy. It's great when we've got something to really get our teeth into. We had some good news, and we could, review some of this. And it's great to get you guys involved and get your thoughts as well. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Right, I'm going to have to say goodbye. I've got to clock out. Don't forget, over on Stadia Pro Gaming's channel right now, I think he does a Thursday. I may be wrong. May be wrong. But anyway, I think he does Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. But if he is, get over there. Get over there and say hi and enjoy his gaming. Ray, thank you so much, my friend, for all that you do. Really, really appreciate it. I'm same island as you, so cooking, dude. Awesome. You are you? You're in the U of K. Aha. Well, we're having fun, aren't we? Cooking. What have I got? I have some leftover chicken stew and cauliflower rice from yesterday. So I'm going to be looking forward to that. Great show. Great show, Rock. See you next time. Thank you, Humble. Really appreciate it, people. Friday tomorrow. Oh dear, suddenly got something in my eye. Don't forget, big day, prize givings ×2. We have the 4 Atari recharged games that I'll be giving away tomorrow on this show. So all you have to do, simple, subscribe to myself, to Ray, to Stadia Pro Gaming, and to John Scar, and leave a comment on this Tuesday's Stadia Rokk Show. That's it. You will then be in the draw to win all 4 of the new recharge games, $40 value. And if you dig out the tweet where I said I would give away the price of Ubisoft Mirage if it didn't come to Stadia, by the way, I still think it will, but maybe not in the near future, you can win that as well, similarly to the price of those 4 recharged, straight to your PayPal account. All you got to do is leave a comment on that tweet. Do both of these by an hour before the show tomorrow, so you know what time this show starts. Make sure before 1 hour before that you've done all of that stuff, because that's when I'll be grabbing all the names, putting them in to the wheel, the wonderful wheel of winners, and you could be one of those winners. Join me tomorrow, same time. Hopefully got some great Stadia news we can run through, and we will be making 2 people. I'll be running it, by the way, twice with different people in both cases. And don't forget, if you are a Team Rock member, you get added to all my giveaway prizes for free as part of your membership. You don't have to do a thing, don't have to lift a finger. I've taken care of it for you. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic Thursday, and I will see you all tomorrow. Rock out.